Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Trials and Tribulations Show. My name is Wynn, and I'm your host. I want to tell you about three things today. First of all, I want to tell you about experience. Next of all, I want to tell you about my book. And most of all, I want to tell you about experiences and what experiences do for the peoples of this world. You know, I had a friend that went to Atlanta not too long ago. And when he arrived in Atlanta, all that night he had a toothache. And those that have a toothache, had a toothache, especially the eye tooth, you know how much it hurt. And that tooth made him cry and moan and everything all night. Looked like his whole head was swollen up. His ears was hurting, his throat. He was just in pain. Next day, he went to the dentist. The first dentist he got to, the first time in Atlanta, he entered the dentist's office. There was three other people ahead of him. And to relieve his stress, he struck the conversation with the secretary. And in that conversation, he learned that this dentist had only been in practice and in this location for 18 months. And as the secretary kept talking, he kept looking at the dentist's door and looking at the peoples in the front of him and looking at the door he came in. And for long, he was standing in front of the secretary desk making an excuse and telling her that he'll be back at a later date. He arrived at another dentist's office and come to find out this dentist had 50 years experience. And while sitting there waiting his turn, it seemed as though his whole aching head, ears, and everything went down. It seemed as though he was relieved of the pain. It had stopped there for a while. And because of the experience this doctor had, is what made him feel more comfortable and more relaxed sitting there. Now, he felt if that doctor had killed anyone in life, had pulled the wrong tooth, or had broken anyone's jaw, he had enough experience in 50 years not to do that again. And he figured that he was safe. And that's with everything that we do these days. You know, when you got a Lincoln or a Cadillac, the people next door are people that give you advice that, man, don't take your car to the alley mechanic. Take it to Lincoln. If you got a Cadillac, take it to a Cadillac. If you got a Dodge, take it to the Dodge people. Why? Because those people made the cars. They're much more experienced. They know what to do with it. And that's what we look for in life, experience. Now, on the back of my book, I ask a question. What is life? Life is a school, and I try to answer for you, of course, that life is a school of good and bad breaks, where lessons hard learned reach the human soul and leave an imprint. And that imprint is experience. And experience is the rudiment of life. And by saying that, experience is the beginning of learning. Like a baby have to learn how to crawl, then walk, then talk. Experience is the most valuable teacher in the world. Experience. You put your hand in that fire and you know you'll surely get burnt. You always will remember that. Experience. And I'm writing a trilogy, 3 books. I've been telling you about this. And of course, I know that you have missed me off this show. I disappeared on you about a year ago, a year and a half now. But I'm back. And I'm going to try to bring you at least 2 shows a month. This trilogy that I'm writing as I've told you before, is about my past experiences. And I feel that I'm qualified to tell these young boys which way to go and how to get through all these turmoils and things that they have in the street, and how to duck all this gang fighting and all this, and try to get your education. And that's what I'm about. I have little education. I told you that. You can see how I talk. I get tangled up in my words, but I'm still here trying to tell it to you because I feel like I got something to tell you and I got something to teach you. And if you just listen, you'll make it 80 years like I did. I had an old man that put his arms around me when I was about 20 or 21 years old, and he showed me contracting, taught me the contracting game, and that's what I want to teach you. And as I have said before, and I know you get tired of hearing this on TV, but I'm going to tell it to you again so you'll know I have the experience. I have had hotels, lounges downtown, 55th Street, the Golden Sand, etc. So those people my age, a little younger, know about those places. In my book, we mentioned Jack's Back Door, all those Club de Lisa, and all those other places. It's a good reader, and people will enjoy it. But for those young peoples, you will get a lot of experience out of that book. And if you take my advice in that book, then you will know how to become a contractor. You'll know how to make money instead of trying to stick someone up or trying to sell some dope out here. But whatever your thing is, you should try to get an education now, and you should try to learn and make this a better world for yourself, for your family, and for your neighbors. You know, some time ago, a year ago, I had a show with Mr. Webb Evans, and which you would see on this. I will repeat this show again, that I said that when I start my organization, I would go to these suburban towns and try to open up a school for the children to teach them how to be how to do computer repairs, filming, modeling, editing, how to become a secretary, teach them secretarial work, teach them how to become a paralegal, and a whole lot of programs that I have in my organization from qualified teachers that want to teach, such as Mr. Darnell Glover, which will be teaching about filming, editing, and all. He produced this show. He produced 3 or 4 of his own shows, Underground Railroad, and etc. So Mr. Glover will be this teacher. He's not my age, but he around my age, and he got some knowledge that he want to give back to the young people like I do. I have contractors at my age who want to give back to the young boys, teach them what they know before we leave here. We're trying to give it away, but you know, there's no one accepting it. Now, I had an experience with a little, it's a suburban town a couple weeks ago. I been doing a lot of business there, contracting. In fact, I own homes there and everything. So I goes in and asks the people in the planning department about donating a building to the Royal Order of Baltimore, which is my organization, 501c3, non-for-profit, so we could teach these young people how to stay out the streets and teach them not every year or every 4 months, but teach them every day about Black history. Have a class, have classes that will teach them Black history. I mean, all the way through. That's what all Black boys should know about their history. But After I told her everything I had to offer and what we wanted to do, we didn't come there to beg for a grant because I've been out here 50 years and I have never gotten a grant. In fact, I have never applied for one because when I was coming up, you just had the big people like you got now getting those grants. And when you get to a person like me, don't have too much education, then you know that application to making out them grants, people be ripping you off. They be charging you thousands of dollars to get the money for you, and then you never do get the money, and then you can't make out the application. So I just give up on it. I just don't apply for no grants. And most of the people's, the big companies that get the grants, mess up the money. You have read about that and all, but the people that's sincere, like I am. And we not say I'm sincere because I've been out here. I have 60 years experience and about 45 years experience in contracting. I was started when I was 21 years old. I'm 80 now, so you figure that one out. But I got street sense and I got contracting sense, and I could teach the young boys something. I have something to offer. But again, I go to this little suburban town and I tell the people that I need this building to start up my organization and show them all my papers and things. And they say, you know, the building you asked for is on the thoroughfare. Now I know to my own knowledge that building has been closed up for almost 30 years. It's been closed up since I've been doing business in that city, town, and I've been going there at least 30 years, 25 years to the most. And you know, I said, well, you know, we trying to help the children. You know, we trying to give something for them. I see you be saying on TV and on your TV station, you got one here in this town that you want to help the kids, and we should all come together. And that's what's wrong with black people. They don't come together and they don't stick together and they don't do for each other. I said, but now I'm here asking you to give me a building to house these programs I got for these children, and you tell me that you can't do it because you need tax. Now, how are you helping your children, or do you have any? We're not asking for no grant, which we know Obama have sent a grant to all those suburban towns. But we're not trying to beat them preachers out, because that's who's sitting there trying to get those grants, the preachers. We all know that. And those peoples that end with the city halls or whatever, the good friends, they getting the money. We know that, so I know that we not going to get none of that money, so I ain't asking for it. Only thing I'm asking for is to help the children. Now, I'm not a fly-by-night person. I just didn't jump up here and try to beg and ask for a building. And you think I'm trying to get over? I mean, you can look at my track record. So I want you to get a pencil and a piece of paper, because I want you to check me out. Because I'm not just here talking, because I'm going to be here next month telling you. Because I'm not going to accept that lady in planning. I'm not going to accept her word. I'm going to the mayor of this town. And then I'm going to see what he got to say. And then if he said no, then I'm going to his boss. And if his boss said no, then I'm going to come back like I told you a year ago and tell you on this TV show who these people are. And we'll know the ones that want to help their race and the one that don't. The one that just talking, lip battling, but don't want to do anything. And I will expose them on my show because I'm sincere in what I'm saying. I know we need unity. We need a lot of things out here, and we need to come together. And I'm trying to give a little bit back to life, maybe that I've taken out, because I'm just not no priest. I've been kind of wrong out here myself. I done went to the jailhouse, and that's when I could tell a young boy how to stay out of there. I have tried to deal dope. That's when I could tell the young boys how to stop dealing it. I have did everything under the sun to kill someone. I haven't burglarized anyone, and I have never put that pistol in my hand and stick up at anyone. I was more smarter than that. So when I got out of jail, and that old man put that knowledge in my head about contract at 21, I didn't have to do the rest of the stuff because the money flowed in. It's like Eric Lee's. I have lived a raw life. I have told you this over the years that I've been out here and on this TV show. And I have had 21 buildings, 4 of the largest lounges in Chicago. Like I said, one downtown from Sears and Roebuck on Harrison, called the Painted Lady Lounge. I have had the Cryo Hotel at 55th in Michigan, 10 storefronts. Have had about 8 to 10 restaurants, all kind of Cadillacs, Navigators, whatever you think a person would want. But that was in my younger life, and that's when I was doing a whole lot of working and things and desired those things of the street. But see, when you get my age and start getting around 60, all those things don't matter. It matters to a young boy at the time. It matters to them to have Stacey Adams shoes and all kind of daub hats and things, but that don't do nothing for your pocket. And after a while, when you dealing dope and everything, you went to jail and get 60 years or 70 years, that wouldn't have meant nothing to you because you gone forever from the streets, which everybody want to be in these streets. They don't want to go no jailhouse and be like a bird in a cage. But if you don't listen, that's what's going to happen to you. And they're killing each other now, you know. But it's left up to you whether you want to live or you want to die, you know. But if I was you, I'd try to get me a trade and get me an education, because I have told you a couple of years ago that everybody can't go to college. You know, some people don't have the money to go to college, and you just can't make it going to college. And you might want to get an education, but you don't have the money to finish. But what you can do is go and get you a little small job and then go to trade school. Get you a trade by 18 months, 12 months, whatever it takes. And then after you get that trade, then if you want to be a doctor and you want to go another 8 or 12 years to try to get that education you want or become that doctor you want, then do that. But get that trade now where you can start taking care of yourself, your family, helping your mother, whatever you have to do to survive in this lifetime. And that's what I want to do to you. I want to do for you like that old man did for me. He put some knowledge on my head, and that's what I'm trying to do for you. And if you would buy my books and read them, it'll teach you a lot of things, especially young boys. And your older people, my age, you will enjoy reading it because it'll take you through 47th Street, 43rd Street, 39th Street, West Side. It'll take you in Jack's back door. It'll take you and introduce you to Fluky. It will introduce you to Dan Gaines if you that old to go back and know those peoples. So the book have a lot of good things in it, a lot of thrills, a lot of educational things. And I want you to buy these books, and they will be out for sure this time, the 25th of May. I will receive my books I think they tell me on the 21st, and they will be in the bookstores or whatever on the 25th. But you can always call me at 312 312 221 4767. And I'm asking those people out there, young people, old people that have a building that you just trying to hang on to, and you study paying the taxes. You can write the tax off if you can let me have this building so I can help. You can help me to help you raise your children or teach your children what to do in life about these trades. I'm looking for a building to house this organization. We just starting out, and we're a non-for-profit organization, and you can write it off on tax. But help me. You say you want unity. I'm trying to bring unity to these suburban towns and Chicago. I'm trying to help you, to help your children. Mine is grown now. As I told you before, and you can check me out, I got one son and 13 daughters, and all of them got good jobs, all of them successful in life. They got their own homes and things, and I appreciate all of them. I love all of them. But they learn, and they listen at me when I talk to them. And now I'm trying to talk to you young fellas, you know, to pull up your pants and come on get your education, or come on get you some kind of trade so you can live, because you haven't lived yet. You don't know about living. Even when you out there dealing or whatever you're doing to get you some money that not, as you call it, in your pocket, you know, you scared to death and you nervous because you didn't get it right, you know, and you uncomfortable. You know, whatever you're doing in that flashy car, you don't know if your life gonna leave here tomorrow or what it gonna